The soft crackling of the fire danced through the living room, casting a golden glow that might have felt comforting on any other night. But not tonight. Tonight, that warm flicker served a different purpose, more somber than soothing. I sank deeper into the armchair, glass of half-forgotten whiskey in hand, its sharp edge slicing down my throat. Still, that burn didn't hold a candle to the white-hot sting of betrayal pulsing through my chest. For years, I'd believed Emily was it for me, the one. We'd been married 7 years, and everything I did, every choice I made, was with her at the center. She had that kind of charm that turned heads and a drive that could power cities. Wherever she went, people noticed, and I never minded. I was proud to be the man by her side. That pride, it disintegrated 3 nights ago. I hadn't been snooping, just grabbing my charger when I noticed her laptop left open. She'd rushed off packing for a business trip. A few stray notifications caught my eye, and well, curiosity did the rest. What I found? Nothing to do with conference calls or client meetings. Unless her corporate duties involved booking hotel rooms with some guy named Greg. My stomach dropped as I scrolled through thread after thread, every message cutting a little deeper. Explicit details, flirty banter, and then the kicker, her calling me a safe, boring fallback. Like that, the ground beneath me vanished. I should have confronted her then and there. My hands were trembling, my heart pounding out of rhythm. But something, shock maybe, or that creeping sense that she'd just twist it all into something forgivable, kept me still. Instead, I let it simmer. Let it turn heavy and quiet, like a storm building just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to break. And then tonight, she waltzed back through the front door, suitcase in tow and that radiant, practiced smile on her lips. "Hey babe, I missed you," she chirped, slipping off her heels like we were still playing house. Her voice was all sugar and sunshine, almost convincing enough to make me question everything I'd seen. Almost. I didn't move from the armchair, just lifted my glass again and let the silence stretch. "Have a good trip?" I asked, keeping my tone steady, bland, neutral. She paused, a flicker of something in her eyes, then smiled again, right on cue. "Yeah, it was productive. Draining, though," she called out, already halfway to the kitchen. Normally, I'd be right behind her, grabbing her suitcase, asking about the flight. Not tonight. Tonight, I stayed exactly where I was. When she noticed I hadn't moved, she glanced over her shoulder, puzzled. "You okay?" "Never better," I said, casually, the words hanging heavy between us. Something in my voice must have thrown her off, just a flicker. But she didn't press. Instead, she busied herself with unpacking, rambling on about meetings, deadlines, clients who didn't understand basic scheduling. The usual song and dance. Each word tightened the knot in my gut. She didn't miss a beat. The lies came smooth as butter. Then, mid-sentence, she paused, sniffing the air. "What's burning?" "It smells weird." I leaned inside the hearth. Our wedding album was curling into ash, page by page, edges glowing before turning black. Right beside it, the box of memories we'd collected over the years, cards, old love notes, the dried boutonniere from our wedding, was next in line, waiting to be swallowed up. "Thought it was appropriate," I said, voice low, even. "They don't really hold much weight anymore, do they?" She spun around, her face twisted in disbelief. A cocktail of anger and panic flashing in her eyes. "What the hell are you doing? Are you out of your mind?" I stood slowly, placing my glass. "So," I said quietly, "want to tell me who Greg is?" Her mouth opened, then closed again, like a fish gasping for air. It's not what it looks like," she stuttered. I tilted my head, one eyebrow arched. Really? Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like you've been sleeping with him behind my back. God knows for how long. It was a mistake, she blurted, clutching at whatever defense she could muster. I was lonely. You've been so distant lately. I let out a sharp laugh, dry, bitter, and strange coming out of my own mouth. Distant? I've been breaking my back, trying to build something real for us. Working late, sacrificing time, pushing through every obstacle so we could have a life you'd be proud of. But I guess none of that mattered to you, huh? Her eyes welled up, tears teetering on the brink. But I didn't feel a thing. Whatever sympathy I had for her was long gone. So, I said quietly, want to tell me who Greg is? Her mouth opened, then closed again, like a fish gasping for air. It's not what it looks like, she stuttered. I tilted my head, one eyebrow arched. Really? Because from our understanding, it looks exactly like you've been sleeping with him behind my back. God knows for how long. It was a mistake, she blurted, clutching at whatever defense she could muster. I was lonely. You've been so distant lately. I let out a sharp laugh, dry, bitter, and strange coming out of my own mouth. Distant? I've been breaking my back trying to build something real for us, working late, sacrificing time, pushing through every obstacle so we could have a life you'd be proud of. But I guess none of that mattered to you, huh? Her eyes welled up, tears teetering on the brink. But I didn't feel a thing. Whatever sympathy I had for her was long gone. Please, she whispered, voice cracking. We can fix this. It didn't mean anything, I swear. Didn't mean anything? I repeated, the words sharp, rising with the heat in my chest. You planned a getaway around him. You booked hotels. You talked about me like I was some boring footnote in your life. Don't insult me with that didn't mean anything crap. She broke down then, burying her face in her hands, sobbing like the walls were closing in. But I didn't move. I didn't comfort her, not anymore. I could have called you out the second I found those messages, I said, starting to pace. But I didn't. You know why? Because you didn't deserve a calm conversation or a chance to spin it. You deserve to feel what it's like when your whole world burns down around you. Her head shot up, panic flashing in her eyes. What are you talking about? I walked to the mantel and picked up a plain envelope, holding it between two fingers. I met with a lawyer. The divorce papers are ready to go. Everything's in here, evidence included. Her face twisted as if she'd been slapped. You didn't. Oh, I did, I said flatly. And I had a little chat with Greg's wife, too. Lovely woman. Very appreciative of the information. She might be having her own version of this conversation right about now. No, she gasped, her voice barely audible. I tossed the envelope onto the coffee table with a quiet thud. Go ahead, have a look. It's all there. And don't worry, there's no drama left in me. I'm not here to drag this out or turn it into some messy spectacle. I just want you gone. She crumpled to the floor, clutching the envelope like it was the only thing holding her together. Please, she whispered through trembling lips, don't do this. I love you. No, I said, my voice as cold as the air outside. You don't love me. You love the comfort, the safety I gave you. But the one thing I ever needed from you, loyalty, you tossed aside like it was nothing. She kept begging, words spilling out in fragments, but I was done listening. I reached for my coat and grabbed my keys off the hook. You've got until the end of the week to move out, I said, walking toward the door. If you're still here after that, the locks will be changed. Wait, where are you going? She cried behind me, panic cracking her voice. I paused, hand resting on the doorknob. Anywhere but here. Then I stepped out into the night. The air was sharp and cool, a stark contrast to the suffocating heat inside. Each step away from that house felt like shedding another layer of betrayal, of hurt, of lies. In the weeks that followed, I officially filed for divorce. Paperwork, meetings, signatures. It was a whirlwind, but one I welcomed. Friends and family reached out with sympathy, their support almost overwhelming at times. Still, I didn't let myself get lost in pity. I didn't want to be someone to feel sorry for. I wanted to live again. So I did. I picked up hobbies I'd shelved for years, spent more time outside, read books I'd never gotten around to, ate dinner in silence without feeling alone. I began to feel like me again. As for Emily, she moved out quietly. Her desperate apologies faded, like background noise that had finally stopped. She seemed to understand I was gone for good. Greg's wife left him too, and last I heard, he was still trying to salvage what was left of his life. No sympathy there. The fireplace hasn't been lit since that night. Not because I can't bear to look at it, but because it doesn't need to burn anymore. It did what it had to do. Now it just sits there, a silent monument to the moment I chose myself over someone who didn't. The past went up in flames, but from those ashes, I'm learning how to rise.